You know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. I am your host, Mark Turcotte, and you are tuned into episode 15. And oh my goodness, we got a lot to talk. Oh, wait, hold up. They just changed something. Oh, okay. With lots to talk about. Oh, wait, hold on again. Another update. Oh, okay. Lots to talk about this week, right? They've been back and forth with all kinds of stuff. We're going to break all that down. We got some Adam Warlock lore coming up later on in the show, and of course, a bunch of comments from you guys. So first up, Neil, what's up, dude?
Born again. I'm here. Adam Warlock Day.
Is it lore again, maybe, instead of born again?
Lore again. Adam Warlock, maybe.
Oh.
I'm just coming out of my cocoon. The perfect human being. That's who I am. Ready to save the universe.
Ready to do it, man. Yeah, we definitely got some good Adam Warlock stuff coming up here. Joining us also, Ken's, what's up, dude?
How's it going? Yeah, it's good to be back. I've been very sad and competitive this week, so I'm sure we'll get to all those things.
Oh, I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. I was on like the high, and then it just went. Today it was a rough day, competitive today. Well, we didn't think he was going to be back here, but here to join us for the mega lore dump on Adam Warlock, Matt. Matt, what's up, buddy?
I'm furious right now. One, you used dump again. Two, Neil took my Lorelock line that I've been so proud of all week and was waiting to use. No, I'll just use his ultimate line. Neil takes that too. What the heck, guys?
Jiva in the chat said Adam lore dumps. I mean, that's pretty good. That's a good one.
No.
Approved.
Oh, yes. Approved. Well,
I'm banning Givavieri as we speak.
Yeah, well, Matt, we're glad to have you here. Obviously, we got a lot of feedback this week about your lore histories, whatever you want to call them, that have been coming in. Segments, there you go. And people have been loving them. So we're glad to have you here, doing it live here on the show. And, of course, Adam Warlock, we're going to be talking about this week, in case you didn't notice. But yeah, that's going to be coming up here on the show. But a little bit of housekeeping here before we get rolling. Don't forget, of course, you can follow us on Twitter and on Blue Sky at Rivals Assemble. What's up to everybody over on Twitch and YouTube? We're doing the show live over there. You can follow us at Rivals Assemble Pod. And big thanks to everybody tuning in on the audio version of the podcast, which seems to be probably the most popular version of the show. So big thanks to you guys over on Spotify and on iTunes. Leave us comments over on Spotify. We love reading them. You guys make our day reading all those. And, of course, you can always email us at rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. Now, if you were following us over on social media this week, we teased that launching pretty much with this episode is our Discord. So if you want to join the exclusive Rivals Assemble Discord and tell Matt how great his dumps are every single week, you can do that over in the Discord.
Every hour.
I hate you all. I'm going to go in and ban the word dump.
It's not possible.
Yeah, totally not possible.
Just watch
change his role. But go over, you can go, it'll be in the show notes. So if you, wherever you're tuning in the show, look into the show notes, you'll see it in there. Go ahead and click it. It'll invite you over. You'll go to the welcome page, and we'll be in there, and we'll be able to chat. We have a bunch of channels for not only just game-specific, podcast-specific, but also just general games, comics, movies. And we got a bunch of voice channels, too, so you can go in there, and it'll actually create one so you can connect with other listeners of the show, connect with us, and we can get some games in. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We're all pretty stoked about this. I know
if you join it right now, you may or may not be able to speak. So we're still working on out some kinks. So,
this is the soft launch.
We're still in maintenance mode.
We're posting the picture of our significant other. Like no face, just like the hand. This is the soft launch. We're seeing how people react in the DMs.
Yeah. So
can't react if you can't talk.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, though. I think the Discord is going to be great. I think it's going to be pretty awesome to be able to chat with everybody, man. Like that's been the best part about just the Spotify comments, is seeing everybody's comments, and now we get to chat with you guys real time, which is going to be cool. So, also we had our poll this week, guys. So the poll over on Spotify was, what is the best domination map? And we gave you guys Eagsguard, the Royal Palace, Burn T'Challa, or the Hydra Chatteris base. And with 89 votes this week, coming in at 38.2, so 34 votes, and only edging out the one in second by 2, was the Royal Palace map. which I'm a little disappointed on because my least favorite part of any map ever is in the Eastgard Royal Palace.
Maybe we run back like an electoral college thing and just be like, actually, here's how many votes, each map gets, and like just fix it in our favor.
So I want to. Did everybody here vote? What did you guys vote for?
I actually did not vote. I did not.
I did not vote, so I can't be mad about the result.
Nope.
Your most hated map won, so obviously you didn't vote.
I voted for Brennan T'Challa because it's the obvious choice.
That would have been my vote.
Well, we were like 2 votes behind, so this is why voting matters.
Oh, now you tell me.
Counts.
Now you tell me. Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah, when I first saw that, I was just so surprised because every time we play on that map, and it's specifically
it's just that
there's
one
3
that's inside.
spots.
Yeah,
And I
even
think
know
it's
what that one's called.
Odin's thing. What is it called?
yeah, the Odin's library
Odin
or
thing.
something like that. It's the one where it's like there's almost like a pole in the middle, and then the walkway is a circle up above. It's not the throne room. I know it's not that one, and it's
Odin's
not the
Archive,
garden.
yeah.
So it's the other one.
Big circle, and that's destructible. You guys always complain about that, and I thought that was hilarious. Actually, yeah, this is probably my least
great.
favorite. I like the throne room. I don't like the other 2.
Yeah. I don't know. I just
and you
can't
can run
stand
through
that.
like the Scrooge McDuck like vault full of gold and
Yes.
treasures. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I go that way a lot. I try to ping people to go down there, like, because everybody's looking for you to go up
I've
top.
never
If you can come out there on the bottom and just, I don't know, sometimes you can set up, especially if you have like a penny, they can set up real quick when you walk out the door. But I will say the Hydra base, I'm not surprised that's the last one. For some reason, when it comes to competitive, that comes up a lot for me, and for whatever reason, I just have a terrible like record
They know.
on that map.
that's one of the only maps where I get spawn camped pretty often.
Oh.
It seems to be a good one for that, at least.
Which
least
one?
In my experience, the
Monument.
I mean, all of them, all of the
Really?
the Hydra ones. It seems like I feel like it's happened at least once to me.
Fairfield.
Yeah.
I like this one. I think I voted for this Hell's Heaven. I don't like the monument, which has the center platform that goes up and down.
That moves,
as it changes. I really like the Super Soldier Factory, which has the walls kind of pop up, pop down, pop up. There's like a lot of different viewing points and angles around the map. I think that one's a lot of fun. Frozen Airfield's actually pretty good too. Matt, you and I had a good double team alt in that, and that we put on the Blue Sky. People can check out. It was awesome. I think you're Iron Man, and I was
Oh yeah.
Cloak and
I
Dagger.
had to think back. Yeah.
That was great. That's whenever I play on that map, that's all I remember. So it's great.
That's
Great map.
the perfect map to be a dirtbag Iron Man on, and just
Yeah.
Pew 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 pew.
I think I'm going to
T'Challa,
say,
though, is just like the detail of that map is
Oh,
by
yeah.
far, like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many little things to go and look at there. Like, and the music gets me hyped every time when those maps start.
Actually,
Bomba.
That Warrior Falls,
I'm
and I don't
sure,
know,
something like that.
I don't know what initiates it, but with Warrior Falls, when the whole ceiling collapses,
Yeah, and it changes the route. You can't go through the middle anymore. You have to stay on the sides. And I like the like space. What do you like the? I don't know. What do you want to call it? Like the
spaceport.
Spaceport. That's it. Yeah, the spaceport's cool. I like that map because it's so open. So like if you're playing like Venom is great because you can like swing around that whole map and come in. Or even the Warrior Falls is the same way. Even as Venom, you can swing out like way out and then dive back in at it. I just think those maps they're really open, and that's what's cool about them. So we did the domination map this go around. So for next time, if you go over to Spotify, you'll see our poll up over there. It's going to be what is the best convoy map. So we have Midtown, the new Midtown Empire of Eternal Night, the Spider Islands, Tokyo 2099, or the Yggdrasil Path, Eastgard. So go over there and vote. And then next week, we'll be doing Best Convergence map. And then the week after that, we'll kind of go between the 3 winners, just kind of like we did with the last time with the Best Hero in the Game. And we'll let you guys pick which one is your favorite map. So right now it's Convoy map. Head over to Spotify. You'll see the poll up on the podcast and get your vote in and have your voice heard. Well,
Eventually, we're gonna run out of topics and have to do like best co-host.
Best co-host, yeah.
Well, best co-host to give you a lore dump, I guess.
Yeah. There's only one true
Best
winner.
lore dump. Best
There's
lore dump.
Best lore dump. There you go. Which one is Matt's best lore dump? Matt, so last week we started this new segment called Our Week in Game. What went on in the game this week for you? What'd you get up to?
This week, I spent a lot of time just exploring new heroes. Did a lot of Neil mentioned this last week. Playing in the AI mode, so you're not making people angry in quick play, and I'm 100% fine with that. I'm not a good tank at all. This is no.
Not yet.
This is
Not
not
yet, Matt.
news to anyone. And I saw a clip today. I almost linked it to you guys, but I didn't. Just a meme of, it's like, "Hey, do you know what you're doing?" And like, it's a road rage thing, and the one guy is screaming at the other guy in the car, and the one guy screaming at the other guy has like the Loki crown superimposed on him, and the other guy has the Thor like headpiece superimposed on him. He's like, "No, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to drive. I don't know how to."
I think you should leave. That's the best. I love that so much.
And I was like, "No, that's me for real." So played around with some tanks. Played a lot of Doctor Strange. Tried to play Captain America because I love Captain America so much. I'm just, it's cooking. That's it's not cooked yet, but it is cooking. We'll say. Besides that, was really grinding the event, trying to finish it up, which I didn't. And I made my peace with
really?
that. Yeah, I'm cool.
Is it over now?
So I believe it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't remember if it was tomorrow, but yeah, I think it's over now.
That Star-Lord
yeah,
flow.
Oh, you don't have the line. You didn't like that skin though, right, Matt? Wasn't it you
No.
that said that? Yeah.
I didn't. I was like,
Not
oh
for
no,
you.
I didn't finish it. Dang it.
It's funny. What about you, Kens? What was your week like in Rivals?
Yeah, I did end up finishing the event. I played a lot of competitive this week and made little to no progress. So it's just yo-yoing back and forth. I made a little bit. I started in bronze 1 and ended the week in silver 2.
Nice.
But that sure after so many games. So
many games.
It should definitely be not that. I think I had a 7 or 8 game losing streak at one point. So it has been rough out there for me, but high highs and low lows. It's like you get that win, you're like, all right, well, let's go back in. So I've been playing a lot of Thor and Magneto mainly. I know we had the poll last time of like who needs a buff, and Magneto got a lot of talk. For me in the bronze and silver area, I think he's fine. I am like doing great with Magneto. I've had some awesome multi kills with his ultimate. He can wall up really well. And it's a lot of times on defense, stacking like a Strange or a Hulk and Magneto as the 2 tanks is a really good way for defense. And so I've mainly played Thor. I've had some good Thor plays, but Magneto has been my number 2 this week, which is kind of new.
He likes that Thor play.
I do. Oh yes, I'm big.
Valentine's Day
It's
coming
very important.
Very
Don't forget it.
Got to use that Thor skin.
So, Kens, have you changed from like Strange to Magneto now? Because you're playing a lot of Strange.
Yeah,
now,
I
right?
think that the Strange has become Magneto has become, at least this week, just because I have found Magneto to be a little bit easier. When I think it's his ultimate because Strange's ultimate, maybe situationally is better than Magneto, but I'm solo queuing, and so it's Strange's ultimate, to just use without communication. I feel like sometimes is a bit of a gamble because you're gonna ult and it's good to combo with another ult or something.
Yeah.
And so if I'm just playing by myself, being able to just chunk a ball of stuff at somebody and kill them is a lot easier than having to do all that planning. So
A ball of nails and rebar and
And with Strange, you have to get right in there, right? Because it's AoE around you.
Yeah, it's right around you.
You're just, I see a support back there.
So I played a little bit more Magneto this week too, but just his shield just doesn't last long enough for me compared to Strange. Like I almost need to have like a dive tank with me, I think, to play Magneto. Like I couldn't be the only tank, or I wasn't finding, or the only Vanguard. I couldn't find like a good team. And I'm sure if you're running like the 3 healer meta, I'm sure you'd be fine, but like every match I played, I didn't have enough heals. So it was like I could stay alive for a little bit, pop in the bubble on myself, but it just wasn't enough to stay alive.
Yeah, I do the bubble is a lot more important than the shield.
Oh, definitely.
And you kind of got to go back and I use the bubble way more than the shield. The shield is like a last resort almost. I'll use it if I know that I have teammates behind me. If I've got like a Punisher that's behind me, that I'll pop it and try to like take some fire. But most of the time I'm playing like Zarya, and I'm trying to build that stun shot, to try to slow him down. So
yeah. Neil, what about you? What'd you do this week?
Well, I know you're just talking about the 3 healer meta, but Kenzie, you forgot to mention we had a game with 6 healers.
Yeah, we did play with the 6 healers.
How'd that go?
Stupid.
We went. I think it was
we
a
won a
domination
round.
map. We won a round.
So
That's
we did
awesome.
so we played one round and we just dominated. But it was like me and Neil were tanking, and then I honestly wasn't really paying attention to the rest of our team. And then I happened to look, and I was like, dude, everyone is healing. I was like, what if we also switched to healers? And so then me and Neil switched, and we had 6 healers, and it was
That's
just
great.
the biggest meme game ever. It was awesome.
Yeah, and then we lost. But
I'm still waiting to encounter somebody who wants to 1v1 for the point, because those clips have been fantastic.
Those are good.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
I had twice this week where we had somebody disconnect, and I would literally just put in like the match chat, just like I'm slow walking because we had a disconnect, and just slow walk to the point. And a couple times it would happen twice. So one of the times I had the other team just like I was Venom, and I just was walking around the point. I didn't even bother like going into the point, let them keep it, but just doing the slow like lumbering like Venom, just like walking around the point. It's like whatever, we're gonna lose anyways. It's just like they're crushing us. So.
The clip game this week has been fantastic. I sent you guys earlier the Trojan Shark. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. Basically, like Jeff his ult, getting everybody behind the team, spitting them out. And I think in that clip specifically, it was a Luna who immediately popped her ult, Doctor Strange who immediately popped his ult, and just decimating this team.
I don't think he spit them out. I think he took one for the team there. But after they took him out, everybody else fell out of his body.
Fell out of his mouth.
Out of his mouth, yeah. And then
Crazy. Well, for me, I mean, this week it was pretty much competitive as best I could, trying to
be continued.
Keep that rolling. I started out pretty good. I got all the way up to, I was 1 win away from Silver 1, and then just the losing streak started, and it just
so
went
you were
down,
Silver 2.
down. Yeah, Silver 2. So I'm still at Silver 2, still where I am right now. But dude, I was literally 1 win away from that. And then I also bought the Infinity War Captain America.
Wow. Yeah, you did. We knew
I'm so surprised.
They got me. They got me. Once I saw that Infinity Gauntlet emote, that was it. It was over.
Did you get MVP with it?
I did once, which is pretty awesome.
Well,
which is a sick MVP screen. It is really awesome. But when I was playing competitive this week, my plan was to just, like last season, it was all just about, I'm just going to, play Cloak and Dagger, insta-lock, whatever. This time, I'm literally going in and just, I feel comfortable enough that I can pretty much play any role. I'd rather not play DPS, but if need be, I will. But I've pretty much settled in on tank and strategist, pretty much. And, I think I didn't take me that long to get up to Silver 2, and then it just, from there, it's been going down. But, it is what it is. And we're going to talk here in a minute about some of the changes, which obviously that's what spurred my my wanting to jump into competitive. But let's move on here, guys, to the news, because obviously this is, big deal with what's been going on. So let's move on to our news segment that we call the Not So Daily Bugle News.
J. Jonah Jameson here.
All right. Well, earlier this week, they put out Dev Talk number 10. And so we all got it. We got some confirmation as to when Thing and Johnny were coming to the game. And, everybody's all excited. It's going to be next week. It's going to be coming, Friday, February 21st. And we also know that that's going to be halfway through Season 1. So this Dev Talk went on to discuss the Season 1 first half rank finalization and rewards. And basically they said that, it's all ending at 8 a.m. February 21st, 2025. All ranks will be locked. Players at gold and above are going to get the costume reward. Your Grandmaster rank and above get your, top 500, get the Crest of Honor. And then that the second half of the season would be happening, and that everyone would be D-ranked 4 levels. Well, less than 12 hours later, Dev Talk.
But Mark.
What?
But Mark, I don't want to be D-ranked.
Well, have I got good news for you, Neil? Because Dev Talk 11. Dev Talk 11 came out less than 12 hours later. 14 hours later, I'm sorry. And they went on to tell us that there would now no longer be a rank reset. And that all you had to do was compete in 10 matches in competitive to meet the relevant conditions by the end of the season. And you would get the rewards that would come with the second part. So even if you stayed gold, you still had to at least compete in 10 matches. You couldn't just not play competitive the rest of the season. But you would still, get whatever came at the end. But
Mark.
Yes.
I don't have enough time to reach gold rank before mid-season. I was really banking on the whole season to get up there.
Neil, have I got some good news for you? Dev Talk 12 came out. And as you can see, I was alluding to this in the intro to the whole show. Yes, they changed it again. So now, again, the season ends February 21st or halfway through the season. Anyone who finishes it, and this is to my understanding, will get the skins or the skin that day. You'll get the Invisible Woman Blood Shield skin that day and be able to, as they say, allow them to enjoy the fruits of their hard work ahead of time. But if you're unable to get it, you can continue working at it through the rest of the season to reach gold by the end. And if you do, by the end of the second half of the season, you not only then get the Invisible Woman Blood Shield, but then you'll also get the brand new Human Torch Blood Blaze costume. Now, however, they're not including the Crest of Honor in that. So just the costumes. The Crest of Honor is still going to be a half-season break, and then there's going to be another one for the second half of this season.
Yeah, but because there's no honor because people whine so much.
Okay.
But Mark, I don't want to play
GM,
competitive.
it doesn't matter.
Can you just give me the skins?
No. You need to play at least 10 matches.
You have to play the game.
You got to play the game. You actually got to play the game to get the skin. You can't just buy these skins. You got to get them. What do you guys think?
You can't just level up to gold and say like, "Oh, I hit gold. I'm never going to play comp again."
I mean, that's what I did last season.
Sure you can.
I wasn't going to call anybody out specifically, but now that you mentioned it.
So what do you guys think? Talk amongst yourselves.
Anybody got a generous read here?
Well, I think, I'm glad that this happened because I was trying to, obviously community feedback was not in favor of this. And in preparation for this podcast, I had kind of thought, like, what's kind of the devil's advocate approach of how could this be a good thing? And I couldn't come up with anything. So
Wait, what are you talking about? The rank reset?
Yes, like before they set it back, I failed to find a positive reason as to how it could have been good.
Well, I don't want to stop you right there, but the only thing that I could think of, because I was trying to wrap my head around it too, like why the rank reset, but the only thing I could come up with is like a regular season, if season 0 to season 1 tells us anything, it was 6 levels down. And because this isn't a full season break, it's a half season, that's why they were only going 4. But the reason I think they were planning on doing it was because they're literally introducing 2 new heroes into the meta. So like going from season 0 to 1, you had 2 heroes that come into the game that totally change everything up, or could possibly, and a new map. Now you're going to have not only a new map thrown into comp, but also now 2 other heroes coming in. So it's like, yeah, you reach gold or platinum or whatever it is, but now that we added these new things, you got to prove it again. Well, I think was their mindset, but I do understand for those that worked to get there, that it does kind of suck then that you had to do it again. But like, you're going to have to do it again in 6 weeks anyways, right? Like when season 2 comes out. So that's why I was kind of like, well, does it? But although they did change that, I think, didn't they say moving forward, half season? Somewhere I thought I read that they did change for moving through the seasons. I don't know if it's going to be 6. It might actually be 4 moving forward.
Yeah, 6 I don't think was the number, even though
I might be wrong about that.
It was in the first step talk, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that obviously they're not doing it, but at that point, if they're going to do it that way, why have the mid-season thing? Like, why not just break it up into 2 seasons if you're going to have the, if you're going to have that reset there? In my mind, thinking of kind of like, okay, well, what could a compromise be? Placement matches, maybe. Oh, like if you in the middle of the season, you have to do your placement matches again.
Yep.
Because at that point, sure, yeah, you
That's a
could
great
de-rank
idea.
with placement matches, but also there's a chance that you stay right where you are after doing your placement.
But there are no placement matches right now.
Right, but like that, exactly. So that being something they could easily add.
Yes and no. Like, it sounds like it'd be easy, but I think it's actually harder because that's like a whole system they would have to build to have the game assess where you fit in all that, I guess. Where right now it's just like start from the bottom and go.
Yeah, I don't think I want placement matches. But I'm fine with the way that it is now. They're just being a D rank, but it did feel odd potentially having that in the middle of the season. But I only got to feel it for 14 hours, so that's not near enough time to really process, what the change that was going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think that's where credit needs to be given to them, right? I mean, no other company has reacted like this fast. Like, I've never seen a video game company do this. I mean, yeah, sure, we've seen some things here, more recently, I would say, rather than ever before. But I mean, this was just like, hey, we saw this, we're changing it. And then like literally the next day they added then another. I didn't expect the second change. Like, I thought it was just going to be like, okay, we're going to go with just, you're still going to be able to do the skin and that's great. But now it's just like, nope, we're not even going to do the rank reset. Just rolling with it. It's fine. I mean, you still have to play your 10 matches. So, that's one thing you'll have to do. But as long as you've hit gold, get those 10 matches in. Doesn't matter if you get all the way back down to bronze 3 or whatever it is. Like, you're gonna get your Human Torch skin. I mean, that's wild.
And I guess my question is with it is that as weird as this sound, can this ever be a bad thing? Like, can this like quick response to feedback?
Yes.
Like, is there ever a situation where if this is the trend, if this is what continues, are they ever like, oh man, maybe we should have not done what the community said, and and then they have to backtrack again because it's better for the game. I don't know. It's weird to think about because it does feel incredible to be like listened to and to have changes made so quickly, but I don't know.
Matt, you said yes. Why would it be bad?
I am, so first off, let me say I feel I'm very much on the outside of this discussion because as someone who has basically stopped playing competitive just because it is not worth the mental processing power for me and protecting my peace. Hearing and watching all of this unfold, it just seemed like it seemed too reactionary. From the discourse that I was seeing, again, you're going by a vocal minority online of people who do this, where it could be a lot of people who might not care, but the loud minority were loud enough that NetEase took action on it. Which I agree with Ken's. It's great that we're seeing that type of interest being shown in feedback. But a lot of the other discourse online was specifically talking about the speed at which it was done. So saying like, and I only bring this up because it's what people were talking about. A lot of it was about how slow Blizzard is sometimes at, reacting. How it'd be 3 seasons and, XX and Y and Z before Blizzard did something in one of their games. All of that to be said, I think as a developer, I feel like there's sometimes you need to stick to your guns, because if you are swayed by every, I don't know if negative is strong enough of, well, it was a negative reaction to the plan. If you're swayed by every negative reaction, then you're doubting your ability and the product that you've made. I think there could have been, I don't know if I'm the one to say this is a compromise or anything like that, but I hate to see when people just step back from an announcement so quick about something. In the end of the day, this is a game. It is competitive. Rules and statures and rules of engagement are something that are constantly changing in, this type of environment. And I feel like if you're in that competitive scene, you should be forced to adapt to it, but that's my 2 cents, and it could be a very unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I think you got something there, Matt. As soon as they react so quickly to something like that, I feel it's just opening people up to say, oh, if we just yell loud enough, we can get whatever we want. Right? So people are going to be quick to be like, no, don't do this. I don't like that. And then get more people to yell about it. If we get enough people upset about it and show them, then like they can control whatever they want, whatever something's not good for them, they can just complain and complain. So it's opening up the floodgates, squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing, which anyway,
I don't think it's your high level players. I don't think it's like your Celestial and, like those players who are complaining about it. It's the bronze and the silvers and the golds who are like, I had 20 straight matches of losses, and you're telling me that I have to D-rank back to like bronze 2 and start over again. Yeah. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but you know what, man? Like, I'm one of those people just because I just have not played competitive, and I don't want to say I just know that I'm good enough to hit gold. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I'm confident I'm gonna hit gold. Like, I know I'm gonna do it. It's just it was just a matter of doing it this season. But if I don't get it, it's my own fault because I didn't play competitive for the last 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I mean? And like, I just accept that. Like, I just accepted that going into this. It was just, the minute I saw the first post, Dev Talk 10, I was just like, crap. Like, man, I should have been playing competitive all along. Okay. This next week and a half, I'm going to be grinding competitive. And I just knew that going in. It does suck. Like today, and I mean, Ken's, I'm feeling your pain too, man. It's like, I showed you guys there were 4 losses in a row. I needed that 1 win to hit silver 1. It was 4 losses in the row. 2 of those games, I was the SVP, which is like the loser MVP. But it was like,
first loser,
I was doing my job, man. Like and it was like the rest of the team just sucked. And it really stinks. So I kind of wish there was a way, and we mentioned like the placement matches. I wish the game, and I think it already does kind of assess how you play and give you points based on that. It's not just a win-loss, a static number that it gives you. Yeah. But I kind of wish there still was a little bit more, because it was like, God, man, like it's so based off those wins and losses, and I don't want to say all the time it's not my your fault or whatever, but because I know it's the team that's doing it. But it's just like sometimes there's just nothing you can do to help the team. I mean, the one game I showed you guys, we ended up winning barely. I had 64,000 heals or whatever as Cloak and Dagger, because I just had to be the strategist that game. The other healer had 20,000 or whatever, but it was like I was totally carrying that team. And sometimes, then you have another match that's similar to that, but you're on the losing side of it, and it's like, man, it just feels bad sometimes. But hey, I guess that's competitive. And
exactly, that's literally the nature of the game.
That's it. It is what it is.
You don't make the rules. You are subject to the competition.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
so
I think that there needs to be a balance with this. Again, like I think this is great, and I think that in war companies, I think that there needs to be more of this. Let's make sure we're not making emotional decisions whenever we make changes. But I like the quickness of it. And I like trusting the community. Blizzard is an example. It's not Overwatch, but I'll never forget. And I can't remember if it was a BlizzCon or a Q&A or something, but and about World of Warcraft, where Jayon Brack, the CEO at the time, was, everyone wanted World of Warcraft Classic. Like, there were classic servers that were not official, and like everybody was like, tons of people were playing them. They were great. It's like, when are we officially getting World of Warcraft Classic? And Jayon Brack said, you think you want that, but you don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that's the opposite end of the spectrum, and eventually they released Classic, and it's still today one of the carrying that game.
Yeah.
And so it's like, listen to your community, but also like, you are the ones making it. So, we'll give you that credit, but also we want to be heard.
Well, but the only flip side of that is, and I remember mentioning this here on the show when they said they were going to release 2 heroes every season.
Yeah.
Don't make promises that you're not going to be able to keep. And so this could be an issue where it's like, hey, they respond so quick. And then guess what happens when they don't respond to something? Yeah. And then everybody gets mad. Like, why didn't you you responded? And so it's a fine line.
The voices of dissent there as well.
Yeah. It's a fine line they got to walk here. So hopefully, down the line, we won't have an issue like that. But either way, kudos to them for responding to it, listening to the community. Like I said, this isn't something you see from a lot of companies, and I'm obviously glad they're doing it. And yes, they're very transparent about it. I mean, they just immediately put it out there, and that's great. Let's see what else. It wouldn't be a week of Rivals without new skins coming to the game, right? So we do have these pretty sick Valentine's Day Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic wedding skins coming to the game.
Take my money.
Let's see. The Twitter said, "A love for the ages. Susan Storm, will you marry me? Of course, darling. For now and forever." A romance unfolds in Marvel Rivals with the Life Fantastic costumes for Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, inspired by Fantastic Four, the wedding special, the 2005 #1. This elegant duo embodies the power of love and heroism. And of course, these are available if you're listening to this. Yeah, it's already out there. It is the 60th anniversary, I guess, of it's to celebrate the romance of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman with their 60th wedding anniversary bundle in Marvel Rivals. Inspired by their iconic love story, this bundle marks 6 decades of adventure, partnership, and the ultimate bond of heroism. And they did show, too, right here before we went live on the air, they said this Valentine's Day, you can unlock a special Easter egg animation in Rivals if players on your team both have the nameplates equipped for both of them. And it doesn't have to be just a wedding one. It's either one, any of the nameplates that are in the game for them. It's going to show this little rose kind of go around the
flower petal blowing
thing,
in the wind, like from Pocahontas.
It actually goes from February 13th till March 5th, so it's not just on Valentine's Day.
That cake looks real good.
So, what'd you say?
The cake in the video looked real good. Sorry, I'm currently waiting for my Greek yogurt sweet treat to freeze in the freezer for Valentine's Day because I'm low sugar. I have notes on the costumes. I think it would be cooler if they were like battle damaged,
battle worn. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Or throughout the fight, if it's like a gradual, like Susan, like Invisible Woman starts off with like the nice pretty white dress, but then at the end it's like scorched and like her like hose are ripped and stuff like that.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty sweet, man. Or maybe these could be,
I'm not mad, but
an introduction of a skin where you can kind of choose, right? Like a premium or whatever you want to call that type of skin. I mean, I think we had a message about it last week about the League
legendary skins.
The legendary skins, where you could do that. You could either have it be nice and formal and clean, or have it be, Mr. Fantastic, shirt off, tie undone, or whatever. Would be kind of cool.
Whoa. Disheveled Fantastic.
Disheveled.
Spicy Reed.
Disheveled 4. Yeah, I mean, hey.
Moon skin, and then there's like the
new parent skin.
That could be a thing.
Do you think like next Valentine's Day we'll have like Spider-Man and Mary Jane? Well, I guess Mary Jane's not in the game. Like, who else could we get that's in the game?
Not yet.
Well, they're not together.
Not right now. Yeah, in the books.
I mean, but divorce is very real. So, what if they gave us Spider-Man Renew Your Vows? That'd be sick, because maybe they could give us Mary Jane as Jackpot, or I I forget her hero name in Renew Your Vows, but plenty of Mary Jane heroes to go around.
But this makes sense, right? I think it's cool. I think they're just
100%.
great skins. They look very, very good. So kudos to them, and they're available in the game. I don't know. I mean, I would assume the prices. Do we know? Are they like the Infinity War one, like 2,200 maybe?
I feel
don't know.
22 is a safe bet, or maybe 16 to 18. I don't know.
We'll see. Oh, how much were the like the dragon ones, like the Doctor Strange?
22 to 26.
Just
Okay,
about
so they're
everything
probably
lately
22 then.
has been 22. This kind of most of what we've seen.
They're like, you're saving. It's 35% off. It's like, what? I've
It's
never seen it
immediately
at
on
the price.
sale forever.
Never saving. Are these never going to be like? When will there be a time where these will not
Never
be on
pay
sale?
full price.
It's like when Amazon like jacks up prices before Prime Day.
30% off.
Let's see. Also this week, and this is something we talked a little bit about this on the podcast, I think 2 weeks ago, and I want to bring it up here because I remember back with our conversation, we were saying that whatever this other game does could potentially come over to Rivals or will make the NetEase team up their game, because believe me, NetEase right now, they're firing on all cylinders. But who knows? So Overwatch, I don't want to go too much into Overwatch 2, but we do want to talk about this and kind of compare it to Rivals. So they did their big stream. And if you remember here on the show, we talked about them saying they were bringing these groundbreaking changes and ways to play Overwatch 2. And if you haven't seen the stream or haven't heard the details of this, long story short, essentially they're adding, in their regular game mode, they're adding perks to the game. So as you play the game, I think twice it's going to happen. So you start the game at level 1, you have the hero's basic kit. Eventually you level to a level 2, you pick one of 2 of these perks. And there are things where, typically like the javelin you throw, you just, for Orisa, you just throw it and it just hits the enemies. Now you can charge it up and it'll actually shoot forward and shoot through everybody and kind of hit the people behind them as well and knock them all back.
So dope.
So abilities kind of like that. And then there's even, and that actually might be one of the 3rd level abilities. I think it is.
Major.
But like
the game changer.
the major, right.
Yeah.
So, but twice it happens throughout the game. So you're picking one of these 2 perks at each level 2 and level 3. So that's one thing coming to that game. The other thing is there's a mode called Stadium Mode, which is 7 rounds. So think kind of like your Valorant and that, but in a hero shooter. You can play first or third person. So we were thinking they were bringing third person. They are, of course. I think Rivals is definitely making them up their game with that. But then also you're earning a currency throughout the map or throughout the match, and you're buying more perks. So it's not just the pick one of these 2 perks. I mean, it literally is a wall of perks. Think of like a MOBA when you go to the shop and you're buying your different abilities and stuff like that, or
items,
upgrades, items. That's essentially coming to this stadium mode.
And you can bank them and save it all till like round 7 and just like go from 0 to hero
very fast.
This has got to be the remnants of the Overwatch.
Yes, that was definitely. As soon as they said perks, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Overwatch 2 is finally here.
But what do you guys think? Do you like, number one? I think we can all say that Rivals definitely made them up their game quickly on this. I don't know if this would have came out as quick as it has. But what do you think of like I guess just in the hero shooter genre, like these type of things coming into it? I mean, Kenz, I want to start with you because I know you were pretty excited or have talked about perks before. Like, how do you think they play out in the hero shooter space?
Yeah, I think I'm really stoked for this. I kind of called this in the last episode.
Yep.
It's been something that I had kind of talked about in kind of my wish list eventually for Rivals, and it just adds more depth. And what I like how they're doing it, because they've made it, they've added the perks to the game, but they're on a much smaller scale and just kind of like the regular quick play and competitive or whatever. But then you have I like that they're doing this entirely different mode where it's like it's really in depth, and so versus like, now this is your video game and there are no remnants of the other video game, so I like that that's how it is. But I think that it adds what I really want is I want PvE elements in there as well. And I hope to one day see some of that in Rivals. You know, you've already kind of got what they do with bots, and then every time I see those like statues on Brennan Tajala, I think like, oh man, what if these things were like chasing me around the map? And
Yes, it'd be awesome,
and
right?
So so it's like having added perks to that, I think is could be a cool game mode. But yeah, it's just depth. You know, it's cool.
Neil, what do you think? I see.
I've got a couple questions, I guess. I know you guys watched the stream. I watched a little bit about perks. Your level, because you can still change heroes, right? So when is your level tied to you as a player? So if I go to change my heroes, okay, I can go pick different perks. Are they locked in? I guess we'll see.
That I don't know, Matt. I think you watched some of the.
Can you change heroes?
In Stadium, maybe not, but
I don't think so. Once you've once you've started building that character, I don't believe you will be able to. But it also wouldn't be smart.
Are we talking the regular mode, or are you talking Stadium? Because I could see Stadium, but I could see the regular mode.
Well, we had this previously in a limited event. Remember?
Junkenstein? Didn't Junkenstein have perks?
Was it Junkenstein? Yeah. And I don't think you couldn't swap.
You couldn't change them.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the normal
I think it
mode,
would be smart to not give you the option. It's just less work.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could, because that is a really good question. Because if in the regular mode, which I don't even know what we're calling if that's even called. I guess that's just the game now.
Yeah.
But you know, since it's only the 2 or 3 perks, you know, if you've leveled up in the game, you could quickly spawn in and be like click, you know, and you're good, you know, and you can you could move on. But I don't know.
And then with
go ahead.
With the Stadium mode, is it? I know with a lot of those games like CS:GO, and I'm pretty sure those other ones you mentioned, Mark, it's a one life kind of deal, right? Is that the same thing? Or is it just you just play for the small objective and then it goes to the next round?
They didn't show it in the stream, but Matt, did you watch? Weren't people streaming it, Matt? I think you actually watched people say. So when you die, you just respawned, and did you lose? Because like in Valorant or any of those games, when you die, like you lose your guns, you lose that, and then you have to like.
No, it's like you keep that ability.
Okay, all right. So once you're invested in it, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, as part of the spotlight thing, they had a bunch of they're doing this more and more. They brought a lot of the big Twitch streamers to Blizzard campus and had them playing there with like the horrible lighting and horrible headsets and all. And they're all streaming like in a box next to each other, playing in like, you know, the build that if nobody else is matching up, then you can't play because nobody else is queuing, you know, in this room.
Right.
So
I will say this, like, I think this is cool. It's neat, and I definitely am very interested. I definitely want to play it, like for sure. Especially the Stadium mode. That's the mode to me that is like it almost is going to feel like a whole another game, kind of like Valve's Deadshot. I said it's kind of like a MOBA hero shooter mixed with that Deadshot, and it looks really cool. However, like part of the reason why I liked Overwatch and liked even Rivals is like. You just know when you see that enemy, the more you play, you just kind of get that muscle memory of like, you know, the character across from you, how to counter them. You start to learn it. You start to feel it. It's things like, sure, you can watch a video and people can try to walk you through it, but you just need to play the game to get it. And I just feel like this, by adding in all these different variances within it, it just totally changes the game. And then to me, I don't want to say and I mean, that's kind of the point, right? It becomes more in depth. It becomes more skill based, but like, I kind of like the way the hero shooters are kind of just because that's what they are, you know? So it's like, rather than go the MOBA, like if I want to play a MOBA, I could go play a MOBA. I can go play like Predecessor, or I can go play League, you know, whatever, or Smite 2, whatever it is. Where these games stand alone because of what they are. Like Overwatch, I don't want to say created a genre, because sure, you had Team Fortress 2 and Team Fortress and all those games before it, but it was like it perfected the 100%. Hero shooter genre. And now Rivals, I don't want to say is taking it to the next level, but they kind of have. They just really kind of learned from the mistakes of Overwatch by not listening to the community. And now these guys are, and they just, here's the new one, and it plays great. It's so much fun to play. It's third person. All that's awesome. It's a IP that we all love. And I don't know if even if it's 2-3 years down the line, suddenly they start doing this too, it would just totally change the game. I can see it being a mode. or I would maybe want it to be a mode because it would be different, but I still want them to keep that core piece to it. And I even think even the regular Overwatch 2, putting just essentially what you're going to get 2 extra perks because you hit that level 2, level 3. That in itself, though, is going to change the game. You know, and
I think that is. I think it goes back to like earlier, like you're fueling a competitive game. I am not sure if this is going to be like a specific, like a separate queue, because they also announced that 6v6 competitive would be a new mode coming up. And so it's like you can pick, you know, what type of competitive you want to play, you know?
Yeah. And map voting, and like they're adding in. Like,
if this isn't just another option, I think that's great, because then, Mark, you don't have to play that round.
Right.
But if it's not, then it's like, okay, well, that's why we're not high ranked, because we're not adapting. We're not grinding, you know? And to some extent, like that is the entire point of a game like this, to innovate and to challenge the player to do more. And I think that is respecting the player a lot, because it's saying people are so great at this game that they need to be challenged more. So let's try and give them more. And I'll kind of push back and say, like, I think Blizzard has done a better job in like the past 6 months, the past year, at listening to people. With all the new stuff they've been rolling out, I don't think they could say a lot because stuff was in development. And I think they're still, you know, nursing the wounds of canceling PvE. I was reading something about how like they couldn't bring back the archive missions of like the old Talon missions and stuff, because when they were, you know, building out a new game mode, those basically broke. So they would have to go back and build them from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Which, do you want that, or do you want us to keep innovating? You know, that's like, where are we focusing our time? And with this also being not the best time to be in the game development business. I think Aaron Keller, the game director, presented, you know, these changes in a great way. Specifically talking about like third person or map selection, hero band, stuff like that. He was just like, this is our take on it. This is our spin on it. And I think that is the perfect way to address it, because I don't think it's chasing what Rivals is doing. It's just saying we share a player base, and if they are liking this so much over here, let's also give them this here. Not that we want to, you know, keep them only playing Overwatch, but maybe they'll play a little longer. Maybe they'll have more fun in this game mode that they've come to love. And I'm brought it up in our group chat. Like, they're bringing back another collaboration with the K-pop group Le Sserafim, which popular in their own right, but if you're online and see the Luna Snow clips when she uses her ult, all of them been set to this song called Crazy. And I think it's a super smart decision on Blizzard's part to be like, they're big in Rivals right now. Let's get them back and do something official with Overwatch again. Perfect Night. That game mode was so big.
Competition is good, man. So
yeah, it's forcing the developers to be at the top of their game, and it's a great time to be a player right now.
Yeah, definitely. That's where we are, and I think that's the thing with what they showed this week. I mean, Ken, would you say it's groundbreaking? I mean, that was kind of.
I think, it's what I wanted. So yeah, it's
yeah.
I think that in terms of like, it's going to be a very different game than it has been.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder, you know, as we move forward, like, would we see something like that in Rivals? I think it would be, you know, pretty neat if we did at some point. Like I said, personally, I just would hope that it would be some sort of different mode. Now, one thing they are doing in Overwatch is they're not rolling out all the heroes in that stadium mode. Right. So that would be something. I mean, you look at just the roster immediately with what we have in Rivals. Like, yeah, they would have to slowly roll that out.
Just so smart.
Yeah.
But is this Overwatch 3? Is this?
No, this is
Real
just now Overwatch 2. We've been in the Overwatch 2 beta for several years, and welcome to launch.
Yeah, Mark, I agree with you with wasn't thinking about it, but you said, we come to the hero shooters because it's skill versus skill, right? We're here let's play. I'm used to your character doing these things and I know exactly what to do. I don't know, and now they pick some perks. Oh, do they have this perk or that perk? I'm not sure. What am I going up against?
Right.
But there are games where you can go do that, pick perks, pick all that stuff. Myself, I like the strategy component. Maybe it's because I lean more on that than my actual skill. And so I was really excited about this. I'm like, oh yeah, I love this. And they're like, okay, you're getting shot down by the Sombra, always getting in your face. Here's some extra health, or here's something. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I'm playing this game and this one player is giving me a really hard time. I need to pick the exact same thing, the exact thing that will allow me to take care of them, because as long as I'm taking care of them, I don't care what happens about this. I'm getting my revenge kind of thing. So I'd like to see, I like the lock-in kind of way to play, whether it be with these perks or without. I like having the lock-in of your hero, because that kind of forces you to learn how to play against all the other heroes. And I think that's just a good way to go. And you're not just depending on, oh, wait, they have these flying heroes. All right, I'll just switch to this person, and they're just better against flying heroes. So
yeah, it's like how
kind of thing, right?
How stale is the, oh, I'm support, but our team isn't doing bad. Okay, I'm gonna switch to DPS Moira. That's like the fallback. But what if you were forced to think more?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you had a 6v6 game that didn't have a role queue? Oh wait, we do have that. It's Rivals. That right there is the argument against.
Yeah. That's why Neil is our commander Irwin, and I'm just like Connie in the back of the ring, just chilling.
Well, but like seriously, like that to me, I mean, go back. I mean, what were we on episode 15? I was the guy saying we need role queue. I need a role queue in this game, and now like no. Like that to me, the strategy is no. Like rather than pick a perk, I'll just pick a new hero to play. Like that to me is essentially that. And
that was a very vocal minority too who were calling for it. So, and Rivals, they doubled down, and they were like,
doubled down.
Nah,
you think you want that?
They were right. I thought I wanted it, and they were right. No, man. Like I will now. Like I will plant that flag. Yeah. Do not do a role queue. Like it is. It really makes you a better player. Like you become more well-rounded. Like I said, like just comp this week. I was just like, whatever, I'll play whatever role, because there are characters I feel comfortable with, multiple characters I feel comfortable with playing any role, and I can do that. And then I know, who to switch to. And like that is just a cool way to play the game rather than just
dude,
lock in all the time with the same people. All right, real quick too, we forgot to mention there was a new patch that came out. A little quick one, nothing major thrown in there, but that flavor text, man, they put that flavor text in those patches again. So Neil, I think you put that in there. Do you want to go through some of these? If you
flavor text included, just because you guys don't always read the patch notes. You say you read them, okay, yeah. But we learned last week that you don't get to the end. So sure, Doctor Strange's portal power fixed an issue where Doctor Strange's portal could be interrupted during the placement phase if an allied Loki transformed into him. Of course, everyone runs into that problem all the time. The Sorcerer Supreme's magic now flows uninterrupted.
Yes.
Thank you, Guan. Yes. So there's just bug.
Oh no, you got to read Jeff's.
Yeah, Jeff's is a good one. You don't have to read the whole thing, but just get to the end. Like what? Yeah.
My boy, that's my boy.
Jeff Landshark's bubble trouble resolved. So I think that's pretty fun. Resolved. Oh, that's I guess what it's called.
We love an alliteration.
I guess that's
the name of the ability. I should actually read these ability names.
No.
resolved a quirky situation where Juff's bubbles could, in rare instances, sneak past Emily healing gates into the spawn room. No more bubble bath break-ins.
Oh yeah,
Bubble bath
Neil,
break.
I want you to try to read your daughter the patch notes, like for her
you know what? I
bedtime
bet you
story.
they would love it. They would all love it. I'll bring them out tomorrow night. and
Read
I'll,
the
uh,
patch notes to the kids.
This is
See
our
if they-
bedtime story tonight. Is Marvel Rivals patch notes. Please enjoy.
Picture Neil as the dad who like with his kids grow up and they're like, Dad, did you used to read us like the instruction manual on stuff? And he's like, yeah.
That's all I
That's
got.
right.
You just use real fun voices.
Oh, that's funny. Now, we did forget to mention too, and I think it was the Dev Talk 10, they did say that there are going to be some pretty big game adjustments coming. Pretty big patch notes for the big release next Friday too. So
Yeah, mid-season.
yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see what they're going to do to some of the heroes, existing heroes. Because, I mean, going into this season, they did make adjustments, but it didn't seem like there was anything too drastic. I mean, other than, of course, Storm got pretty awesome this season. But, like, what are they going to change now as we move forward? So we'll have to, I guess, just wait and see on that. But, all right, well, that's going to be it for the news, guys. Let's move on to our lore segment that we call the Cerebro Files. All right. Well, like we said, Matt is here with us today live, so we don't have to go recorded this week, which is awesome. And as promised, we are breaking down Mr. Adam Warlock this week, which was suggested to us. So without further ado, Matt, I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Let the record show that I came up with Lorelock, trademark Matt Clark 2025. So this is your Lorelock lowdown.
You have no proof of that.
Seconded. And
I
Matt,
still like
just
Lord
noticed-
I'll go back to the messages.
Find the receipts.
Let the record show Matt has put his name in our group chat as Matam Lorelock. So it is official. I love that. I don't know when you did that, but I just read it now.
I came
and
into
it's
this chat
fantastic.
with that. That is my stamp of I was gunning for this from the start. Okay, so first off, what is your first experience with Adam Warlock? We'll start with Mark.
It's hanging on the wall behind me, Infinity Gauntlet #1.
Okay,
Actually, I don't know if he was in #1, but that series. Infinity Gauntlet.
little known event, not very, important in the comic universe. Sweet. Ken's, what about you? The first time you encountered Adam Warlock?
Same. But it was not, it was in preparation for Infinity War and the hype of the MCU and
Okay. Not in 1991 when the comic came out, when Mark was like
that's not
30 and read
yeah,
it.
that's not when I read it. It was like,
was actually,
what's going to
11.
happen? Let me read a bunch of comic
Sure.
books. Let me figure out who could kill Thanos. And then I came across Adam Warlock. So that was me.
And after ruling out that it couldn't be Ant-Man going up the chute. Okay, Neil, what about you?
Where a lot of my firsts come from, and that is the game Marvel Champions. I played a lot of this game. Adam Warlock came as a hero in the Mad Titan Shadow expansion.
Yeah, he did.
And I played through that with my buddy, and he's got a lot of cool cards, I have to say. He's got was the Soul Realm?
Soul World.
Soul World?
Yeah,
He's got a card for that, and basically lets him come back alive, and it's amazing. So that was my first foray into Mr. Warlock here.
Nice. So my first experience with Adam Warlock was around 2010 or 11, I believe, when I was in college, and I was reading the Guardians of the Galaxy series, where we saw kind of the lineup that inspired Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy. And Adam Warlock was part of that team. And I didn't do too much deep diving on his history until, getting ready for Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And such an interesting character. And I feel he is a comic writer's dream. because he has built into him basically the ability to just blank slate, tabula rasa every time he dies in comics. It has been established that he can become a new version of himself, new power set, new whatever. So if you are a writer, you can just be like, you know what? I didn't really like that last arc for Adam Warlock. Alt F4 and try again. But over the years, he's gone by a few different names. He was originally introduced as just a being known as he or him. And so he was him.
He was the first him.
He was.
I don't know if he was the first him, but he went by him. He debuted in Fantastic Four number 67 in 1967, which is super smart on Marvel's part because they used Fantastic Four, one of their most popular titles at the time, to introduce so many of these characters, which would become mainstays. And so basically, Adam Warlock, created by a group of Earth scientists called the Enclave, and they wanted to develop this sentient army of perfect, invincible soldiers. Think super soldier, but not taking over people's minds. They want to create them, to test tube them, if you will. When he was formed, Adam Warlock basically became aware that he was going to be used as a weapon to conquer the world. And because of some innate morality system, which don't spend too much time thinking about, because I did, because how did he develop that? Is that inherent? Nurture versus nature, comics, he emerged from this cocoon and basically as this omniscient, all-powerful being, and immediately rebelled against his creators because he considered them evil. So at conception, he had a clear delineation between good and evil, which is wild, and had all the power to do whatever he would like. Determined that Earth basically wasn't ready to handle him and got out of town after he took care of all of the scientists and their lab. Basically, he said the Earth is not ready for this. Cut to some time, he flies into space. He's a huge cosmic character. He runs into the High Evolutionary in comics, if you're familiar with him. And the High Evolutionary is busy establishing this planet on basically the opposite side of Earth's rotation. What's the rotational path? There's a word for that.
Orbit?
Thank you. On the opposite side of Earth's orbit, called Counter Earth. That is the test planet where there was no evil. But somebody got onto Counter Earth named the Man Beast, and he introduced evil to Counter Earth. The High Evolutionary is like, hey, yo, I need somebody to take care of this. Adam Warlock is like, send me. At this time, he'd already died, I think at least once, due to a fight with Thor.
Sounds right.
But it was a sick fight where basically he took blow after blow from Mjolnir, being like, what do you not get? What's the line from you wanna stop me, you're gonna have to kill me.
Ozark.
Yeah, from Ozark. That's basically Adam Warlock, right? But the High Evolutionary is like, I'm gonna just destroy Counter Earth. Adam Warlock's like, no, let me handle it. To give him a fighting chance, he's given the Soul Stone, and it's embedded in his forehead. The Soul Stone being one of the Infinity Stones, Infinity Gems, I'm sorry, in comics. And he's dubbed Warlock. He goes to Counter Earth, fights the Man Beast, and he becomes kind of like a long-running nemesis of his. There's a really weird parallel to like the Bible and the life of Jesus Christ, you know, going through here, because at one point Adam Warlock is captured, he's crucified. At one point he like calls out to the High Evolutionary asking why like he has forsaken Adam Warlock. Just a really interesting story there.
And he was a Stan Lee and Jack Kirby creation?
No, he was I can't think of the name. If somebody could Google it while I'm talking.
I mean, I'm in the wiki. It says created by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby.
Oh, well then, what was the other name?
There's another writer that created him.
Okay, writer and then editor-in-chief Roy Thomas and penciler significantly revamped him. Anyways.
So basically, every time Adam Warlock dies, his powers they have the opportunity to reset. With the Soul Stone, he basically became OP. He could sense the souls of other things, absorb them, place them in the soul world, like Neil talked about, this pocket dimension, where kind of like limbo, kind of like the waiting place. But he can also, in D&D terms, he can cast like speak with the dead.
Nice.
So he can like reunite a soul to its body to temporarily communicate with it. He can devolve organisms into a primitive state. He's like Google Translate. But the soul gem is kind of like a symbiote where its influence wears on whoever possesses it. And basically, the more that Adam Warlock used it, the more he was turning over his agency and falling under its control. But now in comics, he's at the point where he doesn't need to use those powers. During this time on Counter-Earth, like the people he was protecting, they gave him the name Adam, and so it became Adam Warlock. But now his power set, he's learned to control what Marvel calls metaphysical quantum energy, TLDR magic. So he can manipulate matter, energy, souls. He can teleport. And so he's called basically a quantum magician, which is a sick title. But yeah, at one point he was like in the Infinity Gauntlet, he wielded the full powered Infinity Gauntlet, and that had huge repercussions on comics after. So that is his origin, basically. We heard what you guys said about wanting to talk about their nemesis. So there are a couple. In the Marvel Champions deck, it's actually his form known as Magus, which if you played the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, you got a little taste of that. But basically, he encounters this villain who he finds out is the future him, who has become evil and is using this untapped power to do horrible things. Adam Warlock is able to basically ensure that future never happens, but constantly lives with the thought of what if this does, what if it does happen? And that's the emotions of isolation and loneliness. And this is a really good book, or a really good character whose history looks at these complex emotions. And basically when he's born, in one of his first panels, like he tells Alicia, what's her face from, Ben Grimm's girlfriend, he's like, he's still in his cocoon, and he's like, I have this overwhelming feel of loneliness. And it's like, oh, wow. So this is where we start. But very good introspection character, if you will. One of his biggest nemesis is Thanos. They go up against each other so much. And basically in the comics, he's like one of the people who can go toe-to-toe with Thanos. I mean, besides Squirrel Girl, because she's beat Thanos and Doctor Doom and, Solo. She solo queues, guys. GG no scope.
She's
But
top 500.
she's like top 10. But throughout, I'd say Thanos is his biggest nemesis. They've had, only because I say not only do they fight a lot, but they've also had those unlikely times where they've had to cooperate. He's very much a threat to the universe that Adam Warlock knows that he always has to keep in check. But also, there's like this uneasy trust that if he does become Magus, he knows that Thanos could probably take Magus out. There's also the Man Beast that we talked about, who shows up, and then in a few other characters' books as well. Like he's even shown up in Spider-Man books. The Universal Church of Truth, which plays a role in the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, and the Goddess, who is kind of like the person that they, or the deity that they worship, who wants to purify the universe. You know, we all know one of them, right?
What about our Adam Warlock in the game? Is
in the game?
Yeah.
Well, let me hand that over to Neil, and we can talk about some comic recommendations later.
Yeah, so Warlock in the game, it has a pretty good story as part of his character bio, and how he fits in is he feels something going wrong when Doom starts playing with the time streams and the realities. So what do? You go into the panic room, right? He gets right into his cocoon and just sends himself off into space. So here's Adam Warlock floating through space, waiting for all the bad stuff to be over, and he starts getting these voices in his head as he's flying by different spots. The first voice he comes across, it turns out to be Odin, who is stuck in Odin sleep. If we remember from the first event of the series, the magical squirrel keeper of Asgard is saying how Odin's gone and Loki's gone rogue. So Loki has put Odin into Odin's sleep, but Odin's like, yeah, but don't worry about that. There's bigger stuff coming. He's like, what? What's going on? And then he just keeps sailing by. And the next, he loses touch with Odin, and the next he hears another voice. The next voice is Bast, which in the other story bits we know is partially corrupt. The Black Panther has tried to figure out what was going on there, but he kind of hears it in the voice, like, okay, why is Bast corrupt? That's kind of weird. He's still in his cocoon, just sailing along. Next, he comes across another voice. Yeah, another voice where turns out to be a dying celestial, and they say, yeah, there's some real bad stuff out here. I just got was defeated by this evil force with his sword, and then it starts coming on to him where dark thoughts start reaching into his mind, and it turns out to be Null. And Null has killed the Celestial and is coming into Adam Warlock's head, and nice. So it's very bad. He feels how strong Null is getting, and so all of a sudden there's a hard thud, and his cocoon has crash landed on Clintar, and this is where he meets up with everybody, with the crashed Milano on Clintar, and ready for their favorite domination? No,
convergence.
Domination, whatever the convergence map. Thank you.
Ready to stop that vehicle. Ready to move a big blob of
They're halfway there.
Down the road.
Yeah, so he meets up with the Guardians there.
Another epic victory.
They almost got it.
Take on Null.
Sorry.
Any comic recommendations you got, Matt?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll try and go through them really quick. So there's Fantastic Four 67 from 1967, first appearance, he, him. Marvel Premiere 1, 1972. This is the High Evolutionary storyline where he's named Warlock. That's
Whoa.
my dog.
Again.
She doesn't like Adam Warlock. The Warlock series from 1972 is his first solo title. The Magus Saga, 1974. This was spread out across a few different books, but basically collected under the title Warlock in the 80s. So you should be able to just read it there about him going up against his evil self. And then, like Mark mentioned earlier, the Infinity Gauntlet event. Adam Warlock's one of the few people that can defeat Thanos. There's an iconic panel at the end there where he's holding the Infinity Gauntlet and he says, "Let the conflict end." You can Google it. It's just a sick panel. That is in 1991. After that, he establishes the Infinity Watch, where basically the Infinity Stones are split up and each one is being held by someone who's basically protecting it. So there's the Destroyer, which is the big machine from the Thor movie, if you remember that. Has the Power Gem. Moondragon, who is part of Guardians of the Galaxy, has the Mind Gem. Gamora held the Time Gem. Warlock the Soul Gem, and then Pip, which we won't go into now, had the Space Gem. For a time, he even hid the Reality Stone, the Reality Gem, with Thanos, because Thanos understood that he couldn't use it without the balance of the other stones. And again, that kind of like, we have the understanding that you can't do this, so I know that it will stay safe here. As far as modern Adam Warlock, everyone needs to read the Annihilation event from 2008. So it's the Annihilation War, consists of Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest. And so basically, in this event, Annihilus, who is a Fantastic Four villain, he leads this invasion army from the negative zone into the positive matter universe and is trying to basically take it over. And on the first day of his invasion, it said he slaughtered 1 million worlds, like huge epic scale mega cosmic event. I never finished all of it, but I'm doing that right now, reading through it. Conquest is what is kind of like the Annihilation is part 1 of season 1. Annihilation Conquest is part 2 of season 1. Basically think what state the galaxy was in after the events of Return of the Jedi, how the Empire was basically in tatters, no leader. They're just factions across the galaxy, still trying to carry out this directive on their own. That is what happens in Annihilation Conquest, because, spoiler alert, Annihilus gets defeated.
Phew.
And so we're seeing all these different episodes across the galaxy of people trying to squash the remaining forces here. But it becomes more complicated because this race called the Phalanx decimate the Kree. And it's revealed that Ultron is basically leading this attack. And there's this whole thing where he captures the High Evolutionary and forces the High Evolutionary to deposit his sentience into Adam Warlock because he wants this immortal body. But he's like, no, it'll kill Adam Warlock. And he's like, I know, do it. And he does it. And Adam Warlock dies. And Ultron becomes Adam Warlock.
Oh,
Crazy.
How did he come back?
Comics.
You'll have to read and find out.
Cocoon.
But it's Annihilation Conquest is really like focusing. If you've read Star Wars The High Republic, those first few novels where it's so episodic across the galaxy and then characters gathering. Dan Abnett was the main writer, and he would go on to do the 2008 Guardians run where we see Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, that team come together. and they were all main characters in this who are on the edges of the galaxy and are just brought together. And so it's such a masterpiece of an event. You can read the 2008 Guardian series after that, and then most recently Warlock Rebirth, which was in 2023. How we've talked about how Marvel is taking moments from their past and inserting more stories. This happened between the events of the Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity Watch, where Adam Warlock teams up with Gamora and the Genus Vel version of Captain Marvel to investigate the birth of a new perfect being just like himself, known as Eve Warlock.
Nice.
That's all I'll tell you on that.
I actually read
Sweet.
that series this week. Very easy read, like quick to read.
Yeah.
And a lot of action. You get Doctor Strange in there too. I got to learn a little bit about the Infinity Watch and Pip the Troll holding the space stone. Space stone. He's able to basically transport people everywhere. They get to go into the
Soul World.
Soul World as well. And at one point, Adam's pretty down on himself. He's like, "No, I'm done. I'm going to Soul World. Never come back." And then Strange goes and like, "We
going
need
to Soul
you,
World.
Adam. You're the only one who could take on Eve." And
Awesome.
it's great final. It's about 5-6 issues, I think. No, it's a good read for sure.
Adam Warlock is
Cool.
big sad boy energy. Like,
Well, there you go. Tons and tons there on Adam Warlock. We actually got a message, Matt, from somebody over on Spotify, from Chris R. He said, "Hey, Matt, don't worry about running long on your lore segments. They're my favorite part of the podcast and have me going to my local comic book store. I'm currently
yeah.
looking for all of the Avengers vs. X-Men. Keep up the good work, guys. The podcast rocks."
good luck. That's a huge.
Mark,
Lots
you
of
need
tie-ins.
you need a sound bite of like a toilet flushing for whenever
That's
When the lore dumps over.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done here.
Let's see. We also got a message from Berkey J Money, and he said, "Can you guys do an episode with Wolverine lore?"
Nope.
So, all right, bub, we're doing Wolverine next week. So, Matt, get ready for some Wolverine next week. Now, you won't be with us next week doing a live, right? It'll be another recording next week.
Yeah, I won't be here live.
Yeah. So, tune in next week.
I'm recording my other podcast, Justice League Assemble.
No. So yeah, tune in next week for some Wolverine. But all right, well, let's move on here to our final segment, the part of the show where we let your voice be heard, that we call our what ifs. All right, well, don't forget, you can always email the show to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com, or the best way to get in touch with us, of course, hit us up on Spotify and go over there and leave us a comment, just like Matthew Biggs did. And he said, "I love the lore dumps. These are great. One thing I'd be interested to hear about in the future episodes is when we're deep diving on characters in the game, who would be their main nemesis?" And of course, Matt went ahead and mentioned that for Adam Warlock. But he also said, "I love the nemesis system in the card game Marvel Champions." Now, you mentioned
you
it,
do.
Neil, but I put this in here because I wanted to just bring up the game Marvel Champions for anybody that has not played that. That's actually where I think, me, Matt, and Neil first
We became friends.
kind of becoming friends.
I joined during the D&D phase, but you guys were all I missed the Marvel Champions era.
Yeah, so if you have not played Marvel Champions, it is essentially a PvE card game where you can actually play by yourself and you have a hero deck. So think Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Hulk. I mean, now there's so many different hero decks out there. And you actually battle a villain and you're just flipping the cards over. And not only are you fighting the villain, but you're also trying to stop them from committing a scheme, which could be, maybe robbing a bank or whatever it is. And you have to choose, are you going to do damage to the villain to take them out? Or are you going to try to suppress the scheme that they have going on? And you can play up to 4 players. There's multiple modules that are out there. Like Neil had mentioned, there's one, what was the
Mad Titan Shadow.
the Mad Titan, which was all the Thanos one. There was a
Infinity and-
Red Skull one. There's now been 3 X-Men ones, I think. Actually, for Christmas this year, I got the first X-Men one and the Magneto deck.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is about to come out.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
nice.
And
Yeah,
we,
another
we're
cool
such
part of
nerds. They come with like the playbook, and they come with like a comic storyline of the campaign. And so after we'd beat like going through the campaign, we'd beat it and we'd be like, okay, now we have to read the comic
The
and we have to
two-page
voice act it.
I get to be Hulk this time.
But
Another cool
Nerds.
part about the game is not only are you doing that, but you can flip between hero and alter ego.
Yeah.
Because you're taking too much damage, and that's the thing about the superheroes, right? They're not always in hero form. They got to live their day-to-day life. Well, not Adam Warlock, but he still has his alter ego form. So when you're in alter ego, the villain doesn't know where you are. He's not going to be attacking you, but he's be working on that bank heist.
That's
So
work.
it's a cool little balance. Lots of strategy, lots of cards. They give you
Lots of cards.
They give you a set deck when you pick a hero, but there's also you can customize your deck as you go to when you have different types of cards. Just like in other cards games, you've got different colors that they do different things: defense, attack, threat, leadership with allies. Awesome game.
Yep.
Love it.
And just to put it out there too, it's not a collectible card game like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon. You're not buying booster packs that you don't know what's in those packs. Like every time you buy a character, you know what cards are in those decks, and they come ready to go right out of the box. And like Neil said, that it also comes with some other cards, and you can mix and match the cards between decks you already own, depending on as long as it's like what do they call it? The like you said, defense or
whatever
color they are, if you want to say it, or however they do it. And I will say you do need to have the
base set.
the base set, which you can usually find on Amazon anywhere from like $45 to $60, or a lot of times if you go to like Barnes and Nobles, they usually have them in there, and they'll have a bunch
Just
of the
one
hero
noble.
decks. But Barnes and Nobles, multiple nobles. But it's
He
great.
also said PCs.
Yeah, it's cool. And Joey is asking it in the chat, is it pay to play? I mean, you do got to pay for the cards because they are physical cards. However, you can find online. There are places you could probably go online. I know Tabletop Simulator over on Steam does have some modules on there if you ever want to check it out. But it's
even with the
cool.
base set, you get 3 villains, 4 heroes, and that's more than enough. You can play so many different combinations of each. That it's a great game.
If you are interested in the collecting aspect, they do organized play kits, which are sent out to local stores that give you alternate arts. So that is kind of like the rare thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can find them, get them, because they are very hard to come by.
Sell them to Matt.
Sell them to me for very cheap.
And like I said too, I mean, you can play it by yourself. Like that's the cool thing about it. It's like you literally
play with yourself or play with your friends.
Sitting down to play a card game just by yourself, which sounds strange to say, but you can. Like it's great. Let's see, we got another message. This one came to us from King Cheese Puff, and all he said was, "Matt's dump was huge."
Fired.
I just had to put this in there because I just want to pull the curtain back a little bit and let you guys know, like, every message you leave on Spotify pings us or pings me on my phone to let me know that you've left us a message. So that's why a lot of times you'll see they're favorited right away. And, I was at work, just having a bad day at work. I'm a pharmacist, so, old people yelling at me, whatever it is. It's just like, struggling, busy. And then out of nowhere, King Cheese Puff's message comes across and just makes my day. Matt's dump was huge.
MVP.
Oh, it was so good.
Tim, that part in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, when Tim Curry finds out that Macaulay Culkin has been using his dad's credit card, and he does like the classic Tim Curry, like Grinch evil smile.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like you got on your face, Mark, when you saw that message. You're just like in the back of the pharmacy, like,
yes.
Oh,
yes. Huge. So good, man. Let's see. We got another one. This one comes from Genghis Connor, and they say, "Great episode, gents. Just curious on your thoughts of how the battle pass is structured. Other games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, etc., you progress through the battle pass just by playing. But with this, it's a currency-based system that you only earn points from completing the missions. I'm personally not a fan of because it forces you to do specific mission or play as a certain character, etc., just to make progress." So, what do you guys think? I mean, I know we've talked about this a little bit on the show before, I know.
Yeah, for me, I like it. One, because it gets me to play characters I don't usually play. And but on the other side, you can also ignore it because there's so many slots for your missions. I don't know if they run out. Like I have a huge list of missions I need to do. So you don't have to be quick to like go in every day, get those missions done. I guess there's the daily parts, but you can hold a bunch of those too. They make it nice that it's not a job. It's just something you can pick away at as you go, rather than have to kind of like, okay, we got to get in here, get all this done so I can get my battle pass. We'll see at the end of the season if it hurts me or not, but I'm not even halfway through the battle pass yet. So hopefully I'll be able to earn all my rewards.
I unlocked the gallery card this week, and I bought just the base one. I didn't get the boosted one. Unlocked the gallery card, and I'm working on the Iron Man page. Yeah, I think. And one thing I do want to tell people too, if you don't like the missions, I mean, unfortunately, that is the only way. I kind of wish you did get a little something with playing. I feel your pain there, but don't forget that you get 3 refreshes on not only the daily missions, but also the challenges, which are the every 24 hours, you can use a refresh. So like a lot of times I'll get the one that's like, get 5 health packs. And like, I never chase health packs down. And before I used to go and play like Doom Match or play one of those modes where instead I just refresh that. And a lot of times you'll get one that's just like, do 2 sprays. And it's like, okay, I'll just do 2 sprays or 2 upvotes.
Or just don't whine about it and get the 5 health packs and then refresh.
Man, I'm so good I don't need the health packs, man.
What? I knew that was coming.
Huh?
I love Matt's face. It's just that. Get the health.
I'm not chasing down 5 health packs. Heal me, damn it. That's what I'm saying.
Like, what are you talking about?
Who's chasing health packs, man? Come on now.
Everyone.
No! I ain't got time for that. I need you to heal me, man. I'm in lane.
What a waste of a refresh when you could just complete all 5 of your goals, then refresh and get a new 5.
No, you don't. You don't.
Easiest one.
When you're done, you can't refresh and get more. Like you can refresh the existing ones that's on the screen.
Remember, if you're lazy, you can just hit refresh.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about health packs in this game. Because clearly, you guys are chasing down health packs. I never go for health packs. The only time this week I have a couple times.
When it is a goal, when it is a task, yes, I will be like, oh, let me just hit 5 real quick.
But that's the thing. Then I'm purposely getting out of lane to chase down a health pack. It's like, no, I want to get the win. I'm not gonna.
Well, you're not. You got, what was it, 4 straight losses in comp? So I mean, you're not doing that good.
No, I will. Like if I'm
Your
playing
dump is
Thor
huge.
and I'm like, if I'm playing Thor, I'm in the middle of it. I'm swinging that hammer. I'm gonna try to fly back to the healer. Sometimes the healer's not there, and when the healer's not there, it's health pack time.
I'm sorry, we are.
I don't even know where the health packs are. I think it's probably
we're
part of it.
strategists. We are not healers. I do more than just heal you. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. I need to feel people out there. Let us know. Are you chasing down these health packs?
No.
No, I need to know. I need to know.
Looking for confirmation bias.
I absolutely am.
This is Your Honor objection, leading the witness.
This is a future poll.
Health not in my court.
Health packs suck. Yeah,
in the game or out of the game? Are they useful?
I mean, they should be in there, but like, I'm not chasing down.
Issue here.
5?
It is just
2
a mission.
Okay, here, I think my thing is it's 5 of them. If it was 2, I can do 2 sprays, 2 upvotes, 5 health packs. Why isn't it 2 health packs? Refresh. I'm refreshing it. I refresh. And the worst is when you refresh it and you get it again.
If I got to fill 2 prescriptions for this customer, sure. But if it's 5 prescriptions, no, go to another pharmacy. Get out of here.
Moving on. This next one's from Ali G, and he said, I love this. I want to hear your thoughts on Rocket's Ultimate.
Ali G, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Here we go. This is what I want, so I don't have to chase the damn health packs. He says, I want to hear your thoughts on Rocket's Ultimate, also healing if you were connected to it. Rocket main struggled due to a bad ultimate, and this would place him in higher elos. Really want to hear your thoughts.
I don't think it's a bad ultimate.
I don't think it is either. Like I've been using him a lot lately to finish my challenges to get my
dependent on when you use it, though.
Oh yeah,
Rockets can waste their ults all the time. I've been playing a lot of Rocket lately, and I'll usually try and like signal to the group when I'm going to use it so they can be aware. Because also, it's like if you're not on comms, it's very difficult to make it an effective ult unless everybody is on the point and is being contested. something like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be comboed with something, and if it gets comboed with that Punisher ultimate, it is
Wompo combo.
disgusting.
Oh yeah,
Just
definitely.
Punisher with the contact lens in front of him.
Oh man, yeah. But no, I don't think that. So I think that so many of the healers, the strategists, sorry,
Thank
have
you.
they have the like press the button to live ultimate, you know.
Right.
Like
Good
Mantis, Invisible Woman, Luna Snow, like they all have that like panic live button. And so I don't
That's a
think they
great
all
way to
need,
put it.
they all need that. And so I like that Rockets is a bit more damage focused.
Yeah.
Because
he has
he's more strategist than
his
hero,
dash though,
right?
man. Like his dash is the survive. Like, you know, you
Right.
dash one direction
Yeah.
and then like I always turn around and go back the other direction. So you mess with them or climb the wall real quick and people don't know where you are. Like you can just really kind of like evade people that way with him.
He's so
He'd be a
squirrely.
good character to find health packs with.
Raccoony.
No. Don't need no health packs. Let's see. Next one comes to us from
even know where they are.
Geek Oz 87, and he says, I can't usually get into podcasts, but I've been loving you guys. Been binging through the whole show at work. I know you've
dear.
discussed heroes you'd like to see and touched on the lack of villains, but if you could add a villain or two to help balance out the roster, who would you like? I would definitely love to see some classics from Iron Man's Rogues Gallery like Crimson Dynamo or Living Laser. But I gotta say my top pick would have to be a Green Goblin duelist for a new airborne fighter.
Oh,
I second
yes.
that. That would be awesome.
that'd be so
Yeah.
good.
Sweet.
Call up Guan Guan. Get him on Green Goblin. That sounds amazing.
In
Hey,
this
Guan
economy
Guan,
with those
get that Green
international
Goblin in there,
partners,
get them health packs out of the game. That's what I'm going to tell Guan Guan.
I would love to see. Oh yes, Dr. Octopus. Thank you, Ninja Wolf.
yeah.
Great one. Like a Cassandra Nova or a Mastermind. I would love to have the ability to like take over somebody's kit for even if it's a limited
Mystique?
amount of time.
Being Mystique.
That would be dope. Well,
I mean,
I
you
feel
do
like
that with
Mystique-
Loki, right? You can already do
I
that
feel
with-
like Mystique would be like Black Widow with an Echo ult,
yeah.
you know? And I don't
True,
really
yeah.
if they could find a good way to make it like a differentiated character, I think that'd be dope. But like I would love to arcade. Interesting. In chat there. Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I think mine is. I always like to go for symbiotes.
Nice.
Matt has mentioned the new Carnage book that seems awesome. So having
my gosh.
Carnage in the game,
Yep.
you
Scream.
know, with like some like blades or something, or some type of like more, you know, maybe a duelist, would be pretty cool. Null, I say every time, but
yeah.
I think that like in the game right now, and Matt, you can, or anyone can answer this. Do we have anyone that is like pure villain, or is everyone? To me, it seems like everyone in the game right now is more like anti-hero, or has had a lot of villain arcs, but also
Yeah.
like some arcs that are not so much.
Yeah, there is no true villain right now.
Like
in the
no
game.
one that is just like pure, like some of the ones that we're talking about right now, like
Like
Carnage.
Mr. Sin well,
Yeah,
not even Mr. Sinister even more is
Sure.
a true villain.
Not Jeff?
You know what though? I could see them doing like either year 2, which that might even be too soon. Like year 3 of the game is like, and I could see them doing a whole promotional thing, like the year of the villain. You know, and so that year, every hero that comes out is a
Oh my
villain.
gosh,
That's coming
just
out.
all villains.
All
Red
villains.
Skull.
Red Skull would be sweet. Yeah.
Give us a sick red or Sin, even Red Skull skin, Sin, Crossbones.
I don't know much about Hela, but is she really a good person at all?
That's a good.
That's actually that's a
Yeah.
good point.
She has a recently War of the Realms. You know, well, that I don't know if that really counts because they're all kind of all.
It's basically like you're all
as
gonna die
guardians,
anyway.
But yeah, but she's more. She's kind of a goodie in that.
Yeah.
Mine would be Sabretooth, I think. Give me a Vanguard, a little bit more tanky than Wolverine. Give him some defensive abilities. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think mine definitely. I'm going to stick with the Dr. Octopus because I think we talked about that on our characters that we wanted. I just think he'd be cool you could climb the buildings, and I could see him like picking up pieces of the ground and like launching it, or a bigger piece and holding it as a shield. Like you could pick it up.
Yeah.
Think about like in Marvel Spider-Man 2 when you're using the iron spider legs, and it's just like flashing and flailing around, hitting
Whipping
people.
around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He'd be pretty sweet. Let's see. Last one comes to us from Angel.m22, and they said, love the week in review segment. Staying on topic of skins, if you could make one skin for a champion based off a comic, movie, or TV show, or even a theme, such as the Gothic skins, what would that skin be?
Phoenix 5 from Avengers
that'd
vs.
be pretty
X-Men.
sick.
Or the more recent War of the Phoenix event where Echo became the new avatar of the Phoenix. And basically it's all of the Avengers and big Marvel characters getting a shred of the Phoenix Force. So like Captain America has you just Google it. Just Google them all. Like Captain, and we got some of these skins in Future Fight. Like that's the skin that I use. Captain America's Phoenix Force costume. Like
That's
Nice.
Phoenix Force skins would be incredible. I think
the
about-
Phoenix 5 cooked.
I mean,
So-
I think, I was going to say, they mentioned in the chat the Venom pool. I think just the symbiotes on everybody. Give
Yeah,
everybody
that's my
that.
answer every time.
Yeah.
That'll
Give
be
me
a
somebody
whole
else then.
season thing, I bet.
Yeah.
A battle pass.
What is, like, I don't know much about the Phoenix Force. What is it?
That's a whole
That's next episode.
That's a huge dump, Neil.
So is it like the Dark
ancient-
Phoenix, like her powers?
an ancient cosmic force that is seeking balance in the universe, but has the power to corrupt individuals who are not powerful enough to withstand its influence.
So people just get all like Phoenix flame?
Did you see Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
No.
Well, there's this part in it where Kate Blanchett is wanting to like learn all the knowledge ever, and the spoiler alert, aliens in the movie give her that, and like her brain burns up, and so that's basically what happens with people who can't handle the Phoenix Force. They burn up. Or in the case of like Jean Grey, since she's an Omega level mutant, she can, but she doesn't know how. Like she can handle it, but she doesn't know how. And so in her case in comics, she became evil for a little bit amount of time because it activated those sinister like desires and urges in her.
So do the people of the Phoenix Force, are they good? Relatively?
That's a very loaded question that has a lot of varied answers. It's a force that is used for good. The whole point of Avengers versus X-Men, the Avengers wanted to destroy the Phoenix Force while the X-Men wanted to protect it because they thought that it was a way that they could ensure that mutants would continue to exist.
Sweet.
So very contentious.
All right. Well, there you go. So
Mini
episode
jump.
15, mini jump there. Episode 15 in the books. So like we said at the top of the show, if you want to chat with us, join our Discord. We'll have the Discord link in the show notes. So be sure to head over there, click it, and come on in the conversation. As of right now, the way we have it set up as of this recording is once you join in, we will have to set your role to be somebody able to speak in the channels, but we're going to work on that, and hopefully it'll be something where you'll just be able to automatically join in, and we'll get you in there. Of course, be sure to go over and vote on our poll, of course, being what is the best convoy map in the game, either Midtown, Empire of the Eternal Night, Spider Islands, Tokyo 2099, or the Yggdrasil Path in Eastgard. So go ahead and vote over on Spotify. And while you're over there, leave us a review, leave us a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys every single day. You can also send us an email to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. And of course, hit us up on Blue Sky or X at Rivals Assemble. And big thank you to everybody here who tuned in live to the show over on Twitch and YouTube at Rivals Assemble Pod. We love seeing you guys over there and love you just chatting along here as we go. So guys, any words of advice for everybody this week or any plans this week in the game?
Don't worry. you don't have to hit gold just yet. You got some time. So keep putting it off.
Although
You don't even have to play competitive. There are plenty of things to do in the game besides that.
Yeah.
And it's okay. We're not all trying to be pro gamers.
Yeah. And you don't need health packs either, usually, in the game. As long as you have good healers, you don't need
Until
health
next
packs.
time, this is Rival.
But no, seriously though, guy. I mean, hold on. Next week, we're in part 2 of the season. Like by the time people
Awesome.
hear this episode next week, chances are the new season will have launched. Now, we're not
Chris
sure.
Evan voice lines and all.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're going to have access like we did last time to the early build. So hopefully, we're kind of hoping we will again, so we can chat with you guys right away next week and give you all the details on the season. But we're just gonna have to see kind of how things roll out this week. But either way, have a good week in the game. And again, remember, it's just a game. Have some fun. Don't go for your health packs. You don't need them as long as you have good healers. And other than that, until next time, we'll catch you later. Peace.